Hi everybody, Sonia Rollins for BACC Talk. I am excited to have not only a Burlington resident, but now a business resident here and a chamber member, a town meeting member, a Ways and Means member. I mean, Doug, we have so much to talk about, I can't even say. Do you want to introduce yourself for everybody?
Sure. My name's Doug Davison. I am a chiropractor, as Sonia said, and I practice over at One Mountain Road now with Dr. David Marini. I've been in Burlington since 2006, and I'm excited because I recently relocated my practice from Cambridge to Burlington.
We love having you here, Doug, because here's the truth of the matter. You know, Burlington has so many great things to offer, and when somebody actually has lived here so long and then locates their practice in here, it kind of speaks in volume to how you can do everything in town. And now for you, you can live, work, and play, as we always kind of promote Burlington with, right? So let's talk chiropractor first, because
Sure.
I think that's really something that if people haven't used someone, they don't know really when to go and how to go. But let's talk about your background. So you've been a chiropractor for how long?
34 years.
34 years.
Yes.
Started where?
I started in Houston, Texas with the Houston Sports Medicine Clinic. The beginning of my practice was very sports medicine based. I was in a multidisciplinary clinic with an MD, a nutritionist, a podiatrist, and myself. And we saw weekend warriors all the way to professional athletes.
Right, right. And then you brought yourself toward?
We came to Massachusetts. We spent 4 years in Denver for an academic appointment I had at a college there, and then we came to Denver because my wife is from Somerville. Yeah. And we wanted to raise our children around family here. That was very important to us. So we relocated as our kids got a little bit older and came to Massachusetts.
Our big joke is it all starts and ends in Somerville.
That's right.
She was coming home. She was coming closer to home anyway, right. Okay, so now you were a chiropractor. You brought yourself to Massachusetts, and where was your practice before it was in Burlington?
I was in Cambridge. I practiced with Belmont Medical Associates, which is a very large primary care practice that was affiliated with Mount Auburn Hospital. So I was with them for almost 20 years in some variety of private practice, and then we joined Mount Auburn. So I worked for Mount Auburn Hospital, and then that evolved to Beth Israel Lahey Healthcare. And so then about 2.5 years ago, I made the move to a spine specialty clinic in Cambridge. It was just down the street, New England Spine Care Associates. It was 2 physiatrists, so spine specialist and myself. Yeah. And last fall, then one of the physiatrists retired, and the other one took a position at the University of Miami Medical School, and so it gave me the opportunity to think, where do I really, what do I want to do next? Where do I want to be? And I've kind of always wanted to practice in Burlington. Yeah. And so that was the chance. It was the chance I needed.
Sometimes the door opens when you're not really thinking about it. It brings you right there. Sure. Okay, so let's get to it with about. When do you go see a chiropractor? Because I know a lot of people obviously use chiropractors, but talk to people who've maybe never. Like, what's the nuts and bolts chiropractor 101 of when you make that moment of I better go? Sure.
Well, first I would say I have a lot of experience with people who are nervous or who have never been, because for many years of my practice here, I was primarily, my practice was built around referrals from primary care physicians. Yeah. And so people would come in with this funny look on their face and say, I'm here because my doctor told me to come here. And they weren't quite sure. So they weren't coming in with this deep background of, hey, I'm going to go to the chiropractor. They were a little skeptical. And so I'm used to answering those questions. I'm used to working with patients. Generally, people come for pain. Pain's what brings people through the door, and for my practice, it's neck pain, back pain, lower back pain, headaches. That's primarily.
Headaches is interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. Yeah.
A lot of headaches come from neck problems. They come from the muscles in your neck and shoulders. They can come from the joints in your neck. Even migraines can be triggered by neck and back issues. And so often we get referrals from physicians who are looking for something to help the patient with headaches, and we're pretty successful with those folks. Right. And then also we have this mattering of all the other shoulder, elbow, knee, hip, those pains. And so people come for pain.
Yeah.
And it can be from a specific injury. I hurt myself at the gym, or I bent over and I couldn't straighten up. That's not unusual. Also for changes in their activities, their daily activities. So, and that can be seasonal. You know, right this time of year, not today because it's freezing out and it feels like winter, but this time of year people are in their yards, they're reaching in behind a bush to pull out that last leaf, or they're pulling a weed, and so we went from being inside all winter to now we're all gung-ho and we're out and shoveling and carrying bags of mulch and bending and lifting, and so that'll bring people in. In the summer, we start to see golf injuries and all the activity injuries.
Right.
Fall, we're back to raking, and you know, it's just a change in your mechanics. And then winter, a lot of it is either shoveling snow, slipping on the ice, or just sitting on the couch too much because it's cold and miserable. So, so we see a seasonal effect, and then finally you see these things that your body kind of dealt with that you were doing wrong for 30 or 40 or 50 years, and it didn't hurt, and now it starts to hurt. So it's just little insults and injuries that have happened over time that we could ignore before, and now they go from just being kind of a mechanical dysfunction to causing pain, and then pain makes people come in.
Right. And for those who tolerate pain a little bit more than others, what's your words of wisdom of like when pain should really be addressed? Like someone pulls it a little bit, when do they think like this is not me just kind of turning wrong, but I really need to go see the chiropractor?
Right, I'd say there's two things. If your normal activities are making the pain worse, that would be a time to come in. Or if you find yourself literally changing your plans or your normal activities because you're having pain. So there's two things that affect quality of life, and quality of life is generally what drives people to seek help. The first is pain. As we said, it's just uncomfortable, they're miserable. Even a pain that's not a 10 out of 10, it's not as bad as slamming your finger in the car door, but if it's constant and low level, it just kind of is always present. And so people, it's almost like everything they do, there's a component of that is the pain is there. And so that's a problem. Secondly, we don't want to see people that think, oh, I used to love to do X and now I can't do that anymore, or I don't want to because I'm afraid it's going to hurt. So function is the other part of quality. You have pain, but you also have just how much can you do. And,
interesting.
You know, what can you do? And if you start to feel limited because of pain, that's a problem. If we can address the pain, which is always the primary, that's the goal. If somebody comes to me, the primary goal is let's get them out of pain. That's why they came in. The secondary goal is always let's increase their function. Let's get them moving. Let's keep them moving. Movement is really important in managing the pain. It helps temper some of the pain most of the time. But our innate sense is I better rest. If it hurts, I better sit on the couch. If it hurts to get up, I better rest. And a lot of times that's the worst thing we can do.
You need to keep it moving.
You need to keep it moving,
So I'm going to go with that because I've said it to you. I mean, I'm just going to admit this, that I've actually said this to him. Sometimes people think pain is coming from one area, but it's not coming from there at all. So like when people come in and say, my lower back hurts, but really it's because they're not stretching enough and maybe it's blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what it is, Doug, but speak to that a little bit, like that, you know, sometimes we're self-diagnosing, right? I mean, in that way.
Sure, self-diagnosing can get you in a little trouble, and
so can Google.
Dr. Google is not always the best resource. Sure, you can have pain from different areas. You can have referred pain. Joints especially. Joints, when a joint hurts, oftentimes it hurts locally, but it also creates a pain somewhere else, a little bit distal usually. The joints in your lower back can create a dull, toothache pain in your thigh. Which can mimic sciatica. So some people come in and think I'm having sciatica, and they're really just having joint pain, and that's the way it presents. That again, headaches. The joints in your neck can create head pain that mimic other types of headaches. A squeezing type of pain, or a pain over your eye, or behind your eye, or over your ear. Those all indicate possible neck symptoms that are just you're feeling it at another location.
And I love that you're talking about this, because the truth is there are so many different areas. I think sometimes people think chiropractor, they think back, but it's really pain in your body. You could address, you know, someone can come see you to discuss, I'm having either pain or headaches, which is a new thing I didn't learn, and maybe you could help them with that. Yeah.
Right, and our job is to, if I can't help you, my job is to figure out who can.
Yes.
So it's not everybody that comes in the door that I say, oh, you're the person, I'm going to fix this.
Yes.
Sometimes it's, I'm not sure this one is for me, but I can tell you, I can point you in the right direction.
That which is great, and it's another trusted source. Someone can come see you and say, what's going on? And let me ask you this, do people come see you if they're not in pain? I mean, do you have clients or patients who come in and say, I always hear people say, I'm going to go get adjusted at the chiropractor. Doug, what does that mean? I'm going to go get adjusted. Like,
So getting an adjustment, which is one of the things that we do. Right now, it blows me away, but it's very famous on it's popular on social media to watch people get adjusted, and I've watched a few of those. It's interesting. It looks a little violent. And sometimes, you know, many of those are actual, that's the way it looks. They amplify the sound by putting a microphone right against the person's back.
Sure.
But the number of patients that I have that love to watch those videos surprises me.
Yeah.
So all we're doing is really moving joints. Your spine is a long column of bones stacked on top of each other, and between each two vertebrae there's two joints, one on each side, and so when you get adjusted, we're really stretching those joints through their range of motion. There may be a popping sound, there may not. Simply same as if you stretch your hand, you might get a knuckle that pops and you might not. It's really about stimulating the joint capsule, the ligaments that hold the joint together, and the joint itself, and getting good motion. Joints like to move, and that's one way to move joints.
So if people are tight, they feel stiff, they need to stretch more, things like that, is that something they would also come to you and just say, like, my body feels stiff? Or,
sure. Right, and sometimes that's joint based, sometimes it's connective tissue, it's muscle, ligament, tendon. Sometimes they just need to learn some stretches. If they're receptive to that, and we can teach them things to do and do them at home, then that's great. If they feel like they want a little help, then I always send them to physical therapy. You know, we have some great physical therapists in this area. It's a fantastic area for physical therapy, and so I've enjoyed getting to know some of the local physical therapists now that I'm here. I had a great network in Cambridge and Watertown and Arlington, but now I'm developing a great network here, and so I tend to work hand in hand with them because they can do a lot of focused exercise, stretching, really teaching people to be safe and work their body the correct way.
Yeah, okay, so we are going to come back and talk about more of this, but right now, speaking of working your body, we also have to nourish it, right? And Chamber Spotlight went out to Fogo de Chao.
One of my favorites.
One of my favorites, too. We'll be right back after we go visit Fogo de Chao. Hi everybody, Sonia Rollins for BACC Talk. We are at Fogo de Chao at the Burlington Mall, and I hope you brought your appetite today to Chamber Spotlight. Whether you're looking for some great steaks, want to see a beautiful salad bar, or maybe just want to sit at the bar for an after-dinner drink, Fogo de Chao offers something for everyone. Join us inside. First of all, how long has Fogo de Chao been in Burlington?
We have been here since October 21. Almost, 3 years.
It's amazing. It has been a welcome addition to the Burlington community, so we love having you here, first of all, and we love having you as a member of the Chamber. Talk a little bit about, you know, when you come into this restaurant, this is a different feel. I mean, there are so many great restaurants in the community, but how is Fogo de Chao a little bit different than every other restaurant?
We deliver, I say, the high quality of the meats. We have the best steak, and I say experience. When everyone come here, we deliver experience.
Yes.
So you have culture from the south of Brazil, and the gaúcho. We call the guys come around to offer you guys meats. We call gaúchos. They come around, offer you guys all the meats like steak, pork, chicken, and that's a really good experience. It's completely different.
So for those who haven't been to Fogo de Chao, let's give them a little bit of a tutorial on the medallions and how these work.
Basically, if you are doing the meats, you have the medallions on the table. This is the medallion, and when it's red, that means we don't want meat.
Yes.
The gaúcho stop bring you meat.
Yes.
When you turn, flip up for green,
Yes.
that means you want meat.
Yes.
And the gaúcho gonna stop by and offer you meat. They're gonna offer you filet mignon, ribeye, beef ribs, pork, lamb chops, all the meats you have in the house gonna offer.
So you can flip more than one.
Yes, of course, of course. That's the experience we are talking about.
Yes.
That's Fogo de Chao.
And you have all different areas that people can dine here. I mean, I feel like when you come here, you could be sitting at the bar, you could be sitting on some of your indoor patio spaces. It lets the sunlight in, and then you can be over in the other part of the dining room. So do you find that people ask for certain areas? Can they ask for
Yes,
certain
of
areas?
course, of course. The bar area, we have the main dining, we have private space as well.
Yeah.
If you're good to stay in the bar, you can still have the full churrasco experience.
Yes.
That's all the meats can go around, or you can have the bar as well, bar menu. Also, the bar menu can go in the main dining room. If you are sitting in the main dining room, oh, I would like one burger. That's fine. We can bring one burger for you in the main dining room
You
as
know,
well.
I'm glad you said that because I think sometimes people think, I don't know if I'm hungry enough to go to Fogo de Chao today. So they don't have to come and have that full experience. They can order a la carte from the menu. Is
Yes,
that correct?
yes, of course. If you don't like steaks, we have vegan option, we have vegetarian option.
What do you think? I know what the answer to this is, but tell me what people really come here for. Like
The steak.
It's the steak, of course.
Definitely steak.
Talk about your salad bar, though.
Oh, the salad bar is incredible. We have like so many options. Caesar, green salad, we have so many cheese as well. We have aspargo, we have salmon, we have so many options in the salad bar. It's incredible salad bar.
Do you find that this location works well for you to gather all the different demographics around us? I mean, all the different communities.
We are in good spot, and we are very, very welcome to be here.
Yeah, we love having you as part of a member for the Chamber of Commerce. Speak a little bit to that, about being a member with the Chamber.
It's really good. I love Ricky
Yeah.
and Debbie. They are great. They are very friendly. We are really happy to have you guys as a partner.
Tell us what you're cutting.
Today I make a picanha. It's the prime top sirloin. It's the house special. It's really good. It's the best one.
Okay, wonderful. All right.
Right now I cut for you guys.
That's a sharp knife.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to me how people season their meat.
It's just salt.
Just salt.
Just salt. This is bad for red meat. You know, put a season of lemon pepper. It's not good. Just salt.
Just salt. You said it stays on the fire for 6 minutes.
6 minutes is a slice for it medium rare. It's
Okay.
really good.
Medium rare. Is that how people tend to? That's the right. That's really the right temp.
Better flavor, you know, medium rare, you know.
So this is done on charcoal.
Yeah, the charcoal is a very flavor for the meat because the smoking.
And Burlington is the only one in Massachusetts that uses charcoal.
Yes, the Burlington, the fog, yes. Just here, the charcoal.
Now they've been going for a little bit longer. So how long do the beef ribs stay on?
6-7 hours. You know, it looks like right there is in sear the whole side, and then through on the top right there. And then it's maybe 1 hour more. It's cooked the bone. It's so soft on the top.
Hi, my name is Sela. I work here at Fogo de Chao in Burlington, Massachusetts. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for doing this. So the specialty of this caipirinhas for Fogo de Chao is so exciting for me because I love them, but I'm excited that you're going to get to show us how to make them.
Take one whole lime,
Yep.
cut off the ends, one at a time. Cube it up. Don't take too much off. Okay, so place one whole lime inside the shaker. Ounce and a half of sugar. Nice clean muddle.
Muddling's like an art a little bit, right?
Yes, it's a craft. All right, 2 ounces of our cachaça, which is a sugarcane spirit. Give it a good shake about 10 to 20 seconds, and voila.
Look at that. So simple, but so great. Whether it's just 2 of you or 200 of your closest friends, there is so much to offer at Fogo de Chao. If you haven't been here, please join them. You will be more than surprised at all of the great things they have to offer. For Back Talk, I'm Sonia Rollins. I was just saying to Doug, so I'll share with you, I never flip it back to red. It stays on green.
It stays on green.
I'm just like, just keep bringing it on. I mean, they are so spectacular at what
Yes.
they do. The food is unbelievable. I might have tried a caipirinha or two in my time. Yeah, so a good place. So I'm glad.
a fan.
I'm a fan too. Right, exactly. All right, let's get back to you, Doug. So, you know, I think for people, many people know you in town. You know, you've raised 3 children here. You know, speak to community involvement, because I think the beautiful part of you bringing your practice here is now it kind of brings it full circle to you. You've been involved in the community for so long. Speak to that.
Sure, I have been, and that's one of the fun things about being here as a business now. I feel silly saying this actually, but I was so excited because I got to sponsor a t-ball team and a softball team, and sponsoring the drink cart, the drink cart at the high school football golf tournament for the football boosters. And so I feel like those are things that gave to my kids when they were little, and it's a chance to give back. I have a patient that came in the other day, and it's actually someone that lives in Burlington, but I saw her in Cambridge because her primary care said this is the person to go see. And so now that I'm in Burlington, she came in to see me, and she was all excited because her daughter's softball team has my name on the back of it. I was so excited about that because I think it's just really important to be involved in the community, and so now I feel like I can come full circle and be involved as a business.
It is, you know, it's a really valid thing you're saying. I think sometimes, you know, people see either business as business, right? And then you see your residential base as that, and the two don't meld. But in Burlington, the two meld a lot.
Very
actually.
important.
Yeah, which kind of segues us to this whole conversation.
Sure.
In that, you know, you are not only involved as a business owner and resident in, you know, really valuable things. I mean, for those who don't know, here we go, full disclosure, Doug and I spent many a Friday nights inside the Boosters. What do you call that? The snack bar?
Stand.
The concession
Snack
stand.
shack,
We were
right.
like hot dog popcorn connoisseurs by the end of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, so, you know, you give that way, right? You give to when your kids are growing up, you give when you're doing things, you're involved. As a business owner, I think the background noise that sometimes residents who maybe aren't as involved enough or maybe don't see it in that aspect, there is such a fine, I'm going to call it a marriage between the residential and business space here. We're honored to kind of be on both sides of it, you and I. But speak to the importance of business. You are not only a town meeting member, but presently sit as chair of Ways and Means. God bless you. You just finished budget season, so
thank you.
So talk to that a little bit, the importance of the business community and the importance of like that co-partnership.
Sure. Well, the most important angle for the residents is to realize that the business community pays 65, 67, 68% of the taxes in town, which to break it down means for every dollar that we spend to operate the rec department, the library, the DPW, the residents pay about 36 cents of that dollar, and the businesses pay significantly more. You know, there are some other sources of income, but they pay a large part of our cost to operate for things that they don't necessarily benefit from. They certainly benefit from infrastructure. They benefit from fire and police, and so it's important that they're contributing significantly to it. But we are the benefactors of that as residents, and it's a very important role that they play in the way we run our community, and it certainly helps keep our taxes down. Yeah,
it's eye-opening, Doug, when you are on Ways and Means and when you're looking at the budgets. You know, there's a challenge for the community when they see, or for really your members, when they're looking at this entire budget. What's the town's budget this year? Forgive me.
180-ish.
$180 million. I mean, and when you're looking at that in one big chunk, for lack of a better term, now there's that balance of what services are needed, where you put them, you know, where you dedicate your funds to, and the business community paying 65% of it is a statement, really.
It's a big statement. It really is, and it's something that we have to continuously value and recognize, because it's an important component of what we do.
I know Ways and Means has talked about this before, the difference between, you know, do you raise taxes to continue services, or do you keep the tax dollar where it is, but cut services. Did you find that discussion is still going on in Ways and Means?
The discussion is still going on. We start the year with a set of assumptions and kind of guiding principles, and once again this year, the guiding principle was to keep level services. So try to provide the same services next year that we provided this year.
Yes.
And then work your way through that. So we don't want to take things away. We don't want to cut. But at the same time, you have to be reasonable about what things cost. And I feel like this budget, we did a good job of bringing in a kind of a level services budget. There are unique challenges that we face, like the recreation department. The recreation department could always get bigger because they're so good at what they do.
They are
and
so good,
so many
right.
people are so pleased with it. They bring so many good things to our community for the kids and really for all the residents. But it costs money to run the recreation department. We subsidize some of that. So just because your child may sign up and pay a fee to be in a class, that class costs more than those fees cover.
That's right.
Because it's an important service to the community. So we could expand the recreation department, but that's increasing services. So trying to figure out where you keep serving the residents and without overburdening them with taxes is a challenge.
Right, and we always say this, and I'll kind of tie up the community portion of it. It's really about the will of the community, right? I mean, if you want to continue services or improve upon them, there's a cost factor to that.
Sure.
Burlington's kind of always lived in that steady base, and some days the residential feels a little bit more and some days the business community feels it more.
Right.
But it is about what the will of the community is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I thank you for doing that, because
the only other thing I would say is that there is a community comparison chart. So if you're ever concerned about what we get or what we pay in Burlington, there's a nice chart on the town website that shows what all the surrounding communities pay in fees and taxes, and I think you'd be pleasantly surprised and pleased with the way we operate.
I mean, what more can we say than that, right? So I'm going to close it up by saying, Dr. Doug Davison, thank you for joining us. Tell everybody where you're located.
So I'm at 1 Mountain Road, which is the corner of Mountain Road and Wynn Street.
Great.
And my website is drdougdavison.com.
Great.
Let me know if I can help.
Listen, I'd love to say welcome to Burlington, but you've been here a long time, but we're so glad you're now a member of the community on the business side and at the chamber. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for the service to the town. And if you have any pain, a headache, or maybe just need a little advice from a great chiropractor, I hope you'll go visit Doug, 1 Mountain Road, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Sonia.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us today. For BACC Talk, I'm Sonia Rollins.